Giata, where have you been?
Where haven't I been? I journeyed to the heart of the living land.
Envoy, I knew you'd show up eventually.
It's good to see a familiar face. How are you?
My revenants were very happy in Paradise until the steel garrotes stepped out of line. When I heard tensions were brewing, I thought to myself, this is a job for the undead. So I gathered the flock. Likewise. I'll keep them on a tight leash, just in case the steel garrote breach our defenses. Better to have them and not need them. Oh, and I've been meaning to thank you. Whatever you did in the garden seems to have worked. My revenants are docile again. No more rude displays of aggression. I couldn't be more proud. Indeed. The metaphysical currents of the living lands are beginning to settle. Best of luck out there. And don't worry about a thing. My flock will keep us safe and secure.
Thank you, Elia. My compliments to the flock, as always.
Enjoy the time with your flock, dearie. Try to keep them out of the other camps.
Is that you?
The time for standing by is over.
As soon as my gun's cleaned, I'll get out there. Risk a jam on the battlefield. The living lands.
Everything your people have done. You have
Envoy, didn't think I'd be seeing you here.
It's not
From one
surrender.
battlefield to another.
Envoy? Is it really you? Mihala told us you went into some place called the Garden to seek a god?
When you didn't return, we took you for dead.
Did you meet your god there? The one whose marks you bear?
The origin of the Dream Scourge? It was the act of a god this whole time?
Everyone, please, please. We could get to the bottom of this if you would only let them speak.
It's been weeks, Envoy. What happened?
Zapadal was responsible for the Dream Scourge. Their rage, their confusion, their fear.
But the plague isn't over. Dream Thrall still litter Shatterscarp.
There won't be any new infections. We've put a stop to that for good. Unfortunately, there's little we can do for those already in the grip of the Dream Scourge. We can give them comfort, nothing more. This will be a process. The Dream Scourge was never going to simply go away overnight.
I suppose it stands to reason. I found that a quick fix is often anything but. What of this god, then? What does it mean that you freed them? Ludwine had intimated that this land grew a new god. But how can that be?
The gods are the gods. They are the foundation upon which our world is built. You can no more build a new god than you can create a new world. The very notion is preposterous.
Preposterous or not, it's happened. The godless yearned to build something new, and over hundreds of years, they did. A god. I suspect this god of theirs, Zapadal, was created from Echidan souls. Wodka no doubt saw Zapadal as a threat to her authority, so she killed the godless and imprisoned their god.
I assume it is this god we have to thank for the roots tearing apart Paradise? They erupted from the earth the moment those bastards stood up their first siege tower.
We were no stranger to them in Fior Mesiverno. They harrowed our fields, tore our homes in half.
We saw similar destruction at Nakukubel. If these roots and the Dream Scourge are the work of a god, and the gods thought it best to imprison this god, how could you let such a creature go free?
Let's hope they don't decide to further amend themselves by coming for our heads.
First he still Garot, now a rogue god. Is there no place safe from turmoil in all the living lands?
Sapadol's power ravaged my people. I don't know that I can ever trust it.
Keeping watch over Sapodal was a sacred task Nanru gave us when he left. For that reason alone, my wardens owe them their allegiance.
Well, whatever happens, I suppose we can't put the godling back in the bottle now.
But come, we have more pressing matters to attend to. The Steel Garrote have attacked Paradise. Inquisitor Ludwine has already joined the battle. She must have traveled like the wind to get here so fast.
You did. I kicked her corpse when you weren't looking. Just to be sure.
Well, she's seen better days, but you wouldn't know it judging by how she fights.
Ludwine's plowed through the militia like a knife through warm butter.
All right, let's keep the similes to ourselves.
Oh, cheer up. You wouldn't be the first to make that mistake. Might not be the last either, depending on how things go. So long as her passion for Wodica lives, so too will her spirit.
Then we destroy her faith, and the rest of her will follow. I have a theory about this. Let's talk at camp if you want to hear it. But I think we can kill her.
Oh, good. That'll be easy.
It is not, I think, impossible. Well, you might not believe me, but I didn't want any of this to happen. It was Ludwine who called for the attack.
I didn't hear an answer, Ambassador.
She and her Steel Garrote laid siege to the city, shortly after you beat her to the garden.
The Steel Garrote broke through several days ago. As far as we can tell, Central Paradise has been completely overrun. What citizens still live are no doubt in hiding, including many of my people.
You couldn't have known this would happen. Don't take the guilt of the Steel Garrote upon yourself.
Some Paradisans got out, but we expect hundreds have been killed.
We brought as many Hail and Able from Thirdborn as would come. But after the Dream Scourge and our losses from Nakukubel, we could spare so few. I worry it won't be enough.
Likewise, my wardens are still reeling from effects of the eruption. The keep was saved, but there is much to repair, particularly if we are to endure a siege. Most of my men remain at the keep. I can't risk them against the Steel Garrote for the sake of Paradise, not when we are so few.
Well, that's been a point of debate. We can't agree on how to stand against the Steel Garrote, nor who should lead the effort.
Nobody wants to risk their people at the front.
So you let the Paradise militia go it alone?
Even if our meager forces should make it inside.
The siege won't end until Ludwine does. And none of you know how to kill her.
Precisely. The lawful settlement of a new Adirian colony, or the establishment of a Wodican state. She could win with a godlike in her ranks. Your presence would serve as a powerful endorsement. I don't think peace is her concern. Remember, she has an obligation to Wodica, a solemn oath. And neither the Steel Garrote nor the Queen that was look kindly upon oathbreakers.
Because a victory here would discourage resistance elsewhere. The better question is, why didn't you stop her?
Excuse me? She's a 7-foot-tall skeleton powered by her devotion to the goddess of retribution. This isn't my fault.
Sure. Just blame the dead woman. Very mature.
Who else should I blame exactly? Our envoy, perhaps? For not stopping Ludwine and the Tusks?
You could start with blaming your own incompetence. Why are you treating him with kid gloves when Paradis cries out for help?
Enough. I've heard your concerns. We cannot change it now.
The Inquisitor was so convinced the Living Lands would unite against Adir that she's nearly made it true. One people, one law, one true God. That's Ludwine's vision for the Living Lands.
I can't wait to see how you weasel out of this one.
I know it will. We are leading by example, returning order and dignity to Paradis in the wake of the Clavager's death. We will do the same to the frontier, given the chance.
Where was order and dignity when you burned Fior Messivernal?
My administration had nothing to do with that, as I know you know. Adirian rule and rule by the Steel Garrote would be markedly different beasts.
Spoken like a fucking diplomat. Splitting hairs when it all comes from the same head.
Order and dignity. That's what you think we're missing? Bastards! All of you!
Isn't Paradis, its port, its trade, enough for you?
What passes between Ludwine and her men, or between Ludwine and the Emperor, for that matter, is not my affair. But if I had to guess, this was the alternative. The Inquisitor answers only to Wodica. In attacking Paradis, she has dragged us all far beyond the bounds of the Emperor's desires. I've answered your questions. Now I would like you, all of you, to answer mine. Ludwine has sent a message to the Emperor informing him of her attack. He will send advisors and reinforcements swiftly in response. What will his representatives find when they arrive? A new colony? A budding grave room? Before you face Ludwine, you should know what you're fighting for. All of you must decide, together. But whatever you decide, understand, the days of the frontier are done. Adir will come. Indeed, we are already here. Oh, Envoy, no. Do not suggest that lightly. Think of the Emperor. There would be reprisals. Ones which this conclave could not survive, fractured as you are. Not unless you came together and formed a nation of your own. It would be difficult, No, impossible. I'm certain you would fail. Think of your people, all of you. Think of the lives at stake.
Though I'm hardly eager to work with any of you, I like the idea of twisting beneath Adir's boot heel even less. So long as the Wardens can continue our vigil, I'm open to uniting, if you are.
It's a nice idea, but consider the costs. If we walk away from a relationship with Adir, we're leaving a lot of trade on the table. But the people of Thirdborn have friends in the world. I'm sure we'd find our way through.
My people rely on the sufferance of those in Paradise for safety. We have no homes of our own anymore. And Paradise will bear the brunt of the Emperor's reprisals, whatever those may be. But if this is what this conclave wants, then Fior will stand beside you.
We deserve our autonomy, even if we must fight for it. Anything less would be surrender.
Fleeing someone else's laws and authority is one thing, setting up your own is another. We're an island of misfits and dissidents. We'll still have to surrender some of our autonomy, and we won't agree on what that means overnight. We'll be vulnerable. Without allies, other powers will see us as ripe for the picking. Know that this is a hard road to walk.
We were fine before Adir came. We'll be fine when they're gone.
I think we ran things perfectly fine before your kin got here.
Risk into bounty. Does the winter frost dissuade the seeds? Many fruits on our boughs. We graft many leaves into strength.
Of course. Well, don't leave me in suspense. Oh, gods have mercy.
Solus and her Wardens stand vigil with the living lands.
By grit and steel, Thirdborn stands with the living lands.
If this is what you all agree is best, the people of Fior stand with the living lands.
We deserve this opportunity. Thank you for believing in us.
Fighting a battle together is easy. I just hope everyone's willing to stick it out when it comes to the politics.
Gods, they made the right decision for once.
Finally, some sense permeates the proceedings.
On your head be the consequences. That leaves the matter of Ludwig and the Stilgarot. She will never surrender, Envoy. You must kill her, or we will lose Paradise, and eventually the island.
The living lands will never be free until we break the chain around our necks. Ludwig must die her final death.
She better say her goodbyes while she can.
I'm proud to fight at your side, Envoy. One last time.
Let's get to work then. We've got a walking corpse to bury.
The Paradise militia will be at your back. Give her no quarter. The future waits for you.
You're more than worth it. Now go. No doubt the Inquisitor grows impatient for the hunt.
Show them that the living lands will not be broken across Vodka's knee.
Gather your forces and secure the eastern gate. From there, take back the main plaza. I have faith in you. Gods be with you, envoy.
Let's take back the city together. Show the Steel Garrote how the Living Lands takes care of its own.
Let's go free a city, shall we?
You shouldn't be. Oh, let's get him!
Remind me not to make you mad.
We shall tear your enemies apart.
Someone's eager to meet us.
protect your back.
Foolishness.
That it?
Show you found you.
Let's finish this.
Envoy over here.
Come on. You know this. You... Practice with Uncle Capo 100 times. Tight, but not too tight. Don't want to cut off the blood flow.
Envoy! Looking to the right side of
It's you!
Demand your submission. Stand against her and fall.
Let's pay Ludwig one final visit, shall we? Let's make sure she stays dead this time. All right, dearie?
There you are.
She's not lost yet. We would still welcome her graft onto our tree.
Speak to me! So, you survived the garden. Did you come all this way just to try your luck again? To kill me more efficiently than last time? My will is stronger than death. That is both my blessing and my curse.
Of course, we are prepared to kill you as many times as it takes, dear.
Death has no claim to me. Look around, Envoy. Heelguard should have listened. He tried to bring order through compromise. He failed. Order is meant to be imposed by a stern, guiding hand.
Her order wields sharp steel. She must set down her blade.
Don't insult my intelligence or my commitment to the cause. Treaties can be burned. The hands which shook over whatever deal you struck can be lopped off at the wrist. As for you, Sapadal's chains are broken, which means your soul is in their grasp. I don't know how deeply you've been compromised, Envoy. And if I don't know, then I cannot suffer you to live. Do not patronize me. I have every right to put down a threat to the Empire. Steel yourself, Envoy. Make this a fight to remember, even in death.
We would not welcome her death. There is still ample shade for her beneath our tree.
And this time, we'll finish the job.
You really believe you can kill me? Do it then. Kill me as no one ever has. Hold nothing back. Give it your all and destroy me.
There's no coming back this time. Prepare yourself for the next world.
You won't be missed, Ludwig.
Once I'm done killing you, your god of blood.
We are every seed in the soil. We will always grow.
Come on, let's kill her already. One last time.
Again, Monica! Help me! One last time! Wasn't wrong!
Wherever Ludwig is now, she must be seething.
Of course, we'd be happy to kill her again, if needed.
She's done. But we're not. Whatever's next,
face it. Together. Guys, you're all gonna make me sick. But carry on.
Unraveled at last. We no longer feel her wire against our flesh. We are free always. We are free forever.
Silence falls over Paradise, as though the city is holding its breath. Then you hear it, the ringing of a distant bell, the waving of banners, and cheers of victory. After a short and bloody conflict, the dust has finally begun to settle. You feel Sapadal close to your thoughts, stirring with interest. The god of the living lands is observing this moment, unfettered by confusion or fear. For the first time in centuries, they understand. The Paradise militia rallies to you, the outsider who defended them in their hour of need. Whatever happens next, you have won their confidence. You take a moment to reflect on the calm. Not so long ago, you arrived at these shores on a simple errand, which turned out to be anything but simple. The Dream Scourge is over, and the island has been cleansed of plague. A time of healing and mourning follows. People look to you for answers about the source of the affliction. You tell them the truth, how the plague came from a power beyond mortal understanding, and how it is finally at peace. Thanks to you, the Living Lands has escaped Adiran oppression. The free settlements unite under a common banner and begin the fraught process of negotiating new traditions and values. The Empire withdraws. The frontier remains wild, but not for long. Fugitives no more. The rebels of Paradise return to their home and to other free settlements, bringing their skills and secrets wherever needed. For once, they have a future. The refugees of Emerald Stair find a cold welcome in the city of Paradise. Animancy is frowned upon, but their knowledge of agriculture is highly valued. The first bountiful harvest improves relations. The ashes of Fior Messiverno continue to smolder. Scavengers avoid the ruins, fearful of spirits unleashed by animancy gone awry. The once promising city is nothing but a cautionary tale. For the people of Shatterscarp, independence is bittersweet. Those who cannot withstand the grief inflicted by Ringgrim's spell leave the settlements, vanishing into the wilderness. Those who remain find themselves forced to cooperate with others, often begrudgingly. With so many dead, the need to stave off hunger outweighs any distaste for certain trading partners. Solace Keep clings to its long-held isolation at first. But after mourning her friend Kostya, Mihala reluctantly deigns to open the doors of the fortress. Some dwarves greet newcomers with glee. Others still mutter darkly about outsiders. Mihala flounders in her earliest negotiations with the rest of the Living Lands, but slowly learns compromise. She develops a taste for Valian sweets. For the first time in many years, Kai feels an agreeable restlessness. Not to flee, not to drift, but to venture. He visits the distant shores Tama told him about, and savors the modern marvels, ancient wonders, and breathtaking expanses he beholds. His heart swells, not with grief, but with awe. There is so much to discover, and he will spend his years chasing all of the joy and beauty the world has to offer him. With his travels alongside the envoy complete, Marius is left directionless once again. Rather than disappearing into his cups, however, Marius leans on his time among his companions to give him the strength to re-enter society and find comfort in civilization. He establishes a route between Paradise and Thirdborn, guiding travelers between the two in return for money and supplies.
and while he has a reputation for being aloof, he joins the campfires from time to time, sharing stories of his time with the envoy that most travelers believe are completely made up. Giada learned much in your time together. How to stand up to authority, how to face the unknown, and how to move on from the past. But her family's unfinished work weighs heavily on her soul. Her inheritance is the burden of achieving the impossible. Such is the life of an animancer. At least now she has the right tools for the job, and new friends to help her through hard times. No longer under the threat of imminent death, Yardsley returns to the Animancers. Reunited with her beloved Quilici, she helps him and the Animancers as they put their lives together after the attack on Fior Messiverno. Eventually, she even has something nice to say to Vidaro. As the days pass in contentment and relative peace, Yardsley is struck by the persistent feeling that something is missing. Though she still devotes herself to her studies of both the arcane and the godless, the restlessness never goes away. Freed from torment for the first time in centuries, Sopadal turns their prodigious curiosity to the people that shaped them. They observe the ways their people live, and they think deeply about what they see. Though they flinch away from moments of violence, and they grieve souls returned to them too soon, the rage that once shook cities to rubble no longer rules them. Instead, they come to you with questions. They want to understand. After a time, they begin tentatively to garden. Where they can, they improve the lives of Kith, and the suffering that troubled them is reduced, if never fully eradicated. Their grief compels them to love, and they love unreservedly, with the power of a god. Sopadal pours a fragment of their power into the statue they claimed from the temple of Aethys. Newly embodied, they roam the living lands and learn to experience the world as Kith do. Their first attempts at locomotion are clumsy, and a stand of innocent trees is violently returned to the wheel. But as their confidence grows, so does their grace. Soon, they are bounding across the plains of eastern Dawnshore, leaping the river gorge in Emerald Stair, scaling the shark's teeth of Shatterscarp, and fearlessly wading into the Tusk's acid sea. When they break, they come to you to put them back together, and in time, they learn to fix themselves. They wander far afield. You see less of them, but they are never far from your thoughts, and on the rare occasion they return, they always bring you something beautiful and strange. The sounds of celebration pull you out of reverie. Many are waiting to greet you with open arms. You take a moment to catch your breath and savor it, because everything is about to change.